Hi, I'm Mindy Lipschultz. For the past 30 years, I've been creating state-of-the-art immersive attractions all over the world, like the ones you just saw. But you might be asking yourself right about now, what in the world is an immersive attraction? And how would we create one?
When you go on a ride in a theme park, often there's a huge curved movie screen that takes up your whole field of vision, like this one I produced for the King of Jordan. This immersive film and the ride vehicle that is synced to the action of the movie takes visitors back in time to visit the 7 ancient wonders of the world. These people are immersed. And if you're lucky enough to go to a World's Fair,
here it is, the 2010 World Expo Information and Communication Pavilion.
that's where we have the unique opportunity to create and showcase the newest technologies and totally push the envelope to create the most innovative and mind-bending immersive attractions. Do I see snow? We're always coming up with new ways to envelop the audience in the experience. And for this project, the audience was able to personalize their own experiences within the larger immersive environment. My team and I created over 100 media pieces of all sizes and shapes for this Future of Technology pavilion. This sky is projected on a dome screen, and each visitor can investigate the solar system by navigating around it using their own tablet. My favorite projects are historical or educational experiences.
Welcome! My name is Ricky.
Isn't it
I and
always
my
more
fellow
exciting
Eco
to
Crew
learn
members are
something
here to
while you're
help you
having fun?
inspect, decide, and learn from this game.
An immersive environment can be as exciting and expansive as anything your imagination can dream up, like all these various configurations for immersive projection. The magical combination of art, technology, and storytelling creates an amazing and unforgettable experience for visitors and guests.
والرؤية اللتين وضعتا المملكة العربية السعودية على طريق الحداثة والتقدم.
I like to think that these kind of creations are on a Leonardo da Vinci level of innovation. His designs and concepts in the 1400s were centuries ahead of their time. This multi-screen film combines over 200 layers of moving graphics, and I created it for the Art Science Museum at the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. Right now, immersive experiences are starting to pop up in cities all over the world. I saw Van Gogh, the immersive experience, in Los Angeles, and for that one, they project on 4 walls. I wasn't involved in creating these shows, but the point here is that regular, everyday people are hungry for this exciting new kind of enveloping surround entertainment.
What that means for you is if you find these kind of projects interesting or even exciting, there's a growing demand right now for creative artists, environmental designers, and even technical experts for these type of fun projects. Did you even know this was a possible career choice?
What has made this career so much fun for me is being able to let my imagination soar to the moon and beyond with ideas, and then to be able to create them.
I claim the moon in the name of our sovereign lady, Queen Victoria.
Now let's talk a little bit about technology. Starting decades ago, I've always tried to experiment with all the newest emerging media technologies. My goal has been to grab these new ideas and put them to use to create imagery and production techniques that nobody has ever seen or utilized before. And we're able to create a magical world of the Galapagos in 1906 by cutting out a bunch of photos, putting them in 3D space, and the camera could actually navigate around, so it gives the viewer the idea that they're actually in the world of 1906. Back in the 90s, it was really fun to test the original software that enabled all of us to create motion graphics and animation on a personal computer, rather than having to go to a big, expensive studio to create TV shows, which is how it had to be done before. With the advent of animation software programs like Photoshop and After Effects, you could easily layer video, text, and 3D animation all together with hundreds of layers if you wanted to. That had never been achievable before on a desktop computer.
When we first got After Effects, we realized that we could do a lot of the work in After Effects that we had been previously doing on the Henry and Harry. The only difference was we could do it in our own studio. We tell our clients what we're going to do for them we've never done for anybody else, and they're getting a whole fresh, unique look. The programs like After Effects really enable people like my partner and I to have our own businesses and our own studios, because if not, we would always have to have an umbilical cord to a big, giant broadcast facility. And this way we can just do everything on our own and, have our own company. So it's kind of cool.
Then we started doing animated TV shows using computers instead of the traditional hand drawings. This was the first animated show to ever run on the Showtime network in the US. Oh, by the way, I was really sick the day the camera crew showed up.
What's great about this show is it actually integrates traditional 2D animation with the 3D animation. It's not a cartoon show that's Saturday morning for kids. It's edgy characters.
Okay, now that you've seen lots of examples of immersive experiences and learned how technology was so important in their evolution, let's see what it takes to actually make one.
Step 1 is the experience needs to be designed. This was our preliminary design for the 3-level attraction with the dome at the top for that theme park in Jordan that we saw earlier. In this case, we used a software called SketchUp to pre-visualize and design what the whole experience will look like. It's a lot more cost-effective to create your attraction digitally first. And as you can see, to design an immersive experience, we need to utilize a combination of many different disciplines, like architecture, filmmaking, and under it all, technology. Let's break it down.
Okay, so how in the world do we actually shoot a 360-degree movie?
We used to have to make our own custom camera rigs to shoot immersive shows using a bunch of regular video cameras, but we put each on its side to give more height to the frame. And then stitched all the video from each camera together to get enough picture area to project on a dome. Then we can add graphics and animation on top. Just recently, there have been some amazing all-in-one cameras released, so that's what I've been using for my new project. They're still really expensive though, so I just rented this one, the Titan Insta360. So lucky for you guys, I'm in production right now on an immersive tourist attraction that will be projected inside of a dome in the city of San Miguel de Allende. The dome is kind of like a planetarium, but the front is tilted down, so you have more surface to project on. So for the audience, it feels more like an environment than a movie screen. So my new immersive dome project is the story of how San Miguel de Allende, a small silver mining town in the mountains of Mexico, evolved to become a world-renowned art colony and the best city in the world. And the pivotal role it played in the independence of Mexico. The reason these shots are so wide is that they will wrap around a dome theater, so the pixels on the left exactly match up with the ones on the right. Imagine rolling this picture into a tube. Here we are shooting the festivities for Independence Day and El Grito in the Plaza Principal of San Miguel de Allende.
Y así lo aflojas, lo aprietas así, con fuerza, y así ya no se mueve.
And of course, our crew is always teaching the tricks of the trade to our interns and
Y
students.
luego voy a subir así.
Of course, it's hard to understand the full impact of being immersed in a dome with a movie projected all around you on this regular Masterclass video, but it feels like you are right in the midst of the action.
Okay, now we got a glimpse of how we can shoot an immersive 360-degree show. But what if we need some animation for our project?
For my San Miguel immersive experience, the first animation we started to develop was to create the entire Plaza Principal in digital animation with 3D software like Maya, Blender, or even a game engine. You need to be able to move around in 3D space and be able to place all the objects into the scene. That means we had to build wireframe models for every building and item in the old plaza. And when it all came together, I wanted it to look like we were going back in time to the days of San Miguel gone by. The feeling of old photos coming alive really gives the audience the idea that they are time traveling back into history. The next step in the animation process is to create the animatics, which are basically a very simple animated version of the drawn storyboards, which will give the idea of what the story will be. Because we have not produced the real animation yet, we can get the idea of how each animated scene will look, the action within each scene, and the rough timing. This will give us a blueprint for when we create the real animation, because it's very costly and we don't want to make any mistakes. Since our story is set in time periods many years ago, through the magic of animation, we can bring to life people that no longer exist, so their stories can be told. Ultimately, the fully animated characters are created using motion capture, where the movements of a real actor are superimposed onto a digitally animated character.
Okay, so after we have filmed all our 360-degree shots, created all our animated scenes, and collected all of the archival photos and video, we're now ready to edit.
The best editing software at this time for editing 360 degrees is Adobe Premiere, because it has a lot of functionality and capabilities for 360-degree output.
Another great development in technology has been these virtual reality goggles, like this Oculus Quest, for example. This way, immersive filmmakers can test all their shots and see exactly what they're going to look like inside the dome. All these new technological gadgets and software advancements are a real miracle to me. Wait till you see how I used to have to edit when I moved to New York to follow my dream of being a television editor in 1980. But don't laugh.
First of all, we were editing on actual film, so visually you could see every frame. And the sound was on a different strip of magnetic film, so before any editing could happen, we had to sync up the picture film with the audio.
Cuando tú estás editando, vas a tener dos líneas del tiempo, es decir, un video y un audio, pero al momento de exportar, automáticamente se unen ambas para formar un solo formato. Vamos a ver.
But in film, nothing was automatically sunk up. Everything had to be done by hand. That's why when shooting, we use the slate.
Scene 3, take 1.
When the two sticks bang together, you have a visual and audio cue to mark sync in the picture and sound.
Si tú quieres hacer tu video más pequeño, lo único que tienes que hacer es elegir la parte donde quieres cortar, eliminar el restante y listo. Tienes tu video recortado y más pequeño.
And when you wanted to make a cut, you chopped it with the razor blade cutter and stuck the two clips together with tape. But no matter what kind of tools you use to create your experience, The concept of good storytelling through good directing and editing is the same as it's always been.
Now, lastly, how do we fit the movie into the dome? You've seen how many different kind of configurations there are, and there are no standards in this new genre of filmmaking. We're not making a movie for a phone, a TV, or even a movie theater. So the most important thing in this type of filmmaking is testing, testing, testing on the final screen that the movie will be shown on.
And what we have here is the really important log. We are testing a movie which is going to be divided into 5 slices like a pizza. Each projector is going to project on one section of the dome. And right now, at this very moment, the technicians are inside and they are blending the projectors together so no one will see the scene. But that way, you get to see a movie all around you.
So once we are inside the dome, we're testing a lot of things, but mainly to see the brightness and composition of each shot on the dome's surface, and especially to be sure it's not too distorted at the top. It's always an exciting moment the first time you see your film on the dome and make all your notes to be able to continue production. I hope this brief overview of the fascinating world of immersive filmmaking has got you interested to learn more. But remember, no matter what kind of technology or inventions that you use, the most important thing is to tell a good story. And as we learned in documentary school, it never hurts to have your audience feel a little emotional by the end. There are new worlds and environments living inside of all of our heads. Immersive filmmaking can bring them to life for the world to enjoy.